Hello everyone, I am Subhashish Chakraborty. I am a teacher in the Department of Physics in Namanoj Gupta Degree College. So I'll be discussing some interesting topic in mathematical physics today. Very simple topic but interesting. So let us consider a function of two variables, let's say x and y. Okay? So we call this function phi, okay, and let that be equal to x square plus y square. Okay? Now in physics we usually call this type of functions a scalar function, okay, which has different numbers or values at different points in the space. Okay. Now here the space consists of two variables or two-dimensional space x and y. Okay. So now let us try to relate this to what we already know. Let's say equipotential surface in electrodynamics or electrostatics. Okay. So we know that equipotential surface is a surface on which the value of potential remains constant. Okay. So if we take some value of phi, let's say phi equal to 1. Okay. So those points or those values of x and y that satisfy this condition that 1 is equal to x square plus y square, okay, is an equipotential surface. Okay. Equipotential because the value of phi will remain same on this surface. Okay. Now this is also called level surface because phi is not necessarily potential on this. Okay. It could be any scalar function. Now this is the equation of a circle whose center is at origin. Okay, so let me draw this. Okay, center at origin and radius. The value of radius is 1. Okay. Now this is one surface. So if someone says that, okay, let me take phi to be, let's say 4. So I am taking squares here because it will be easier to calculate or show. I can also take any other value. Say phi could be 1.2, 1.5. But in that case, taking square root of that and finding radius will be a little complicated. So let us take to squares only. So in the second case, we have, okay. So here we have a circle, same center, okay, concentric circle. But now the radius is 2. Okay, so this will be a bigger circle. Okay. So let us calculate something and then we will see what that thing means. So 2 points, okay, maybe one important point, or let me define something. So you already know what derivative is, okay, ddx, or we can calculate ddy. But now let me redefine this derivative in a slightly different way. I'll write this as del x and I will write something like del y. And my demand is that I want to define the derivative in such a way that whenever I take derivative with respect to x, I'll keep y constant, and whenever I take the derivative with respect to y, I'll keep x constant. Okay. So let's say, what I'm saying that del x of y is 0, okay, because y is a constant and the derivative of a constant is 0. Okay. Similarly, del y of x is 0. Okay. So let us now define something, a derivative operator. Now rather than defining a scalar derivative operator, we will define a vector derivative operator. So the operator, we will call this I cap del x plus j cap del y. Okay. So this is an operator. Okay. The x component of this operator is del x and y component is del y. But this itself is not a vector quantity. Okay. It's an operator because it is like some empty space is there, and whatever we input from this side, this operator will act on this quantity, whatever we are giving input. Okay. So suppose we take phi here, we will get I cap del phi del x plus j cap del phi del y. Okay. So let's see what happens if we calculate this derivative of our scalar field. So we have I cap del del x plus j cap del del y operating on x square plus y square, that this is nothing but our phi. Now when del del x operates on this, okay, x square plus y square, because y is a constant, okay, the derivative of y with respect to x is 0, so we only have I cap del del x of x square, and then for y, x will be a constant, so we'll have, so this is equal to this, j cap del del y of y square. Okay, and now we can do ordinary derivative here. Okay, this is just twice x. So we have twice x I cap plus twice y j cap. Now what is this? This is a vector quantity. Okay, rather this is a vector field. The difference between vector field and an ordinary vector is that an ordinary vector has constant components. Okay, but here the x component is a variable quantity, y component is also a variable quantity. Okay, depending on the values of the points, the coordinates of the points, we'll get different points. So let us calculate this vector or find the value of this vector on some point of the first surface, level surface. Let's call this surface as 1 and this as 2. Okay, so the first surface is a circle with radius 1 and the second one is a circle with radius 2. Okay, so we know that let's say this one, let's take this point here. So this point is 1 0 and it satisfies, this point satisfies our x square plus y square, the equation of the circle. Okay, so at this point, what is the value of this vector? Let's call this vector as v vector. So v vector at point, let's say 1 0 is twice I cap. Okay, now what is twice I cap? Twice I cap is a vector which is in the x direction, because there is no y component here, so this is in the x direction and its length is 2. Okay, so I can draw this vector like this. Okay, let's take another point. Let's take this point. What is the coordinate of this point? Because this point has to satisfy this equation. So this point is 0 1. Okay, so at this point our vector is twice j cap. So this is again another vector with length 2, but now it's in the direction of y axis. So this is in this direction. Okay, so there are 2 points. I mean, we can show that if we take any other point, let's say if we take this point, we'll see that this vector will always be normal to the surface. Okay, secondly, so now we are talking about the properties of this vector. This vector is something such that it is always perpendicular to the level surface first, and then you see that because of this perpendicularity, okay, this perpendicular nature, if we want to go from, let's say, surface 1 to surface 2, what is the shortest distance? This is along the normal, this is along the perpendicular. So suppose you want to go from this surface to this surface. Okay, we can go like this, anyway. But then what is the minimum distance? It is along the normal. So this is a vector. This quantity is a vector which is normal to the surface, and it also gives us the maximum rate of change. Okay, maximum rate of change, because if we move from this point to this point, okay, first of all there will be infinite number of level surfaces here. Okay, so let's say that I am moving like this, and also I am moving like this. So if I move, let's say 2 centimeters in this direction and 2 centimeters in this direction, the maximum number of circles I can cross will depend on the direction of my movement. If I move perpendicular to the surface, okay, perpendicular to this surface, I will cross maximum number of level surfaces, so the rate of change will be maximum. If I cross in any other direction, the rate of change will be less than that. Okay. So these are the properties of this vector, and this vector or this operator is what we know as gradient of a scalar vector. So that's it about it. We'll see in the class, we'll see what a three-dimensional vector is and some more interesting properties of a gradient of a scalar field. So anyway, thank you for your attention. Thanks.
All right.